Hello, everyone, and welcome to PHTV Channel 4 in Palos Heights. I'm Sue Jankowski. Welcome to our program today. This is the travel show, which we always have our friend Kathy Janes from Class Act Travel in Worth, and you may have gone to visit her. I'm hoping you maybe did at some point in time.
Yep.
Thank you, Kathy, for being here today.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. And she brings a friend with her today, and that is Jeff Ginther. Jeff, thanks for being with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Actually, Jeff and I were just talking. I think Jeff's been here about quite a while ago.
Yes.
That he came to visit us. And actually, Jeff is comes to us from the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism. So he knows a lot about the Cayman Islands. We're going to find out a lot about that if you don't know anything about the Cayman Islands, which I don't really know that much. And so I'm going to be able to learn some things too. It sounds like it's going to be a great place to visit. So when you're planning your visits, you could think about the Cayman Islands. So let's just talk to Jeff for just a second about what's involved in working for the Department of Tourism for the Cayman Islands.
Primarily, Department of Tourism, we used to have offices throughout the U.S. Of course, we've all moved into our homes. But we're responsible for trade and consumer activities, myself in the Midwest. So I kind of concentrate in the 10-state area within the Midwest, primarily in the Chicago area because that is our #1 city in the Midwest.
Oh, right.
And so we're going to trade shows, we're going to consumer shows. We also visit dive shops, do dive shows, because Cayman does have a very big dive clientele.
Oh, right.
So we are kind of the face of the Cayman Islands within our different territories.
Okay, so you used to be able to go to the Department of Tourism of like the Cayman Islands or France or whatever, and so they kind of closed that concept. And now you're doing it from home, and you're outreaching to people.
Right, because nobody walks into offices anymore to pick up brochures.
No, that's true.
Hey, yeah, they do.
Well, your office, but not our office.
But no, I know, I'm
you
not
guys,
the Department of Tourism.
You guys are doing a very good job passing out our material, but they don't walk into our
And I understand,
offices.
I had to tease you. They do come in, well, can I get that book? Well, they don't do that anymore. I really have to tell some clients that certain places don't do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's wrong, but that's
Right.
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
that's
sorry.
And primarily what they're picking up from Department of Tourism, even if we're at a show, and Kathy may know this if she's picked up our brochures at a show, but ours are very generic. It's general information. I tell people at consumer shows all the time, they're always asking me for prices. We don't get involved in the price part.
Okay.
Because if you go to a travel agent will sell you a package, which is typically the best price you're going to get if it's packaged.
Okay. Okay, so you're really more educating people as to what they could find in the Cayman Islands. Okay, well, let's talk about that a little bit. So, first of all, exactly where would the Cayman Islands be in that whole network of islands?
Cayman Islands are directly south of Miami, about 500 miles. They're on the other side of Cuba and kind of northwest of Jamaica. So they're in the Western Caribbean.
Okay, the Western Caribbean, which is going to have pretty great weather.
Yes.
Almost all the time.
Yes. Typically, if you say a year average temperature in Cayman is about 82 degrees.
Oh.
And the water
That's
temperature.
perfect. Yeah, that's just perfect. Absolutely.
And a water temperature 78 or above.
Okay.
So
yeah, so
crystal clear water.
Crystal
Yes.
clear, beautiful water. And is it a group of islands, or is it the Cayman Islands?
it's 3 islands,
Okay.
Grand Cayman being the capital, and that's where most of your international flights will come into. So typically people will fly into Grand Cayman. If they're going on to Little Cayman or Cayman Brac, which are 90 miles away from Grand Cayman, they do have to fly Cayman Airways or Cayman Airways Express in
Okay.
order to get over there.
Okay.
Little Cayman, population of about 200 people, 16 passenger planes that fly in, gravel runway.
But isn't it basically just for divers?
Pretty
It's-
much,
it's
divers,
a,
ecotourists.
I see. Okay, that's not really the place. If you're looking for an experience where there would be more people, resorts, and so forth, you would be going to Grand Cayman.
Well, absolutely. And the Caymans themselves are known for their diving because the diving there is just incredible. Between the wrecks and whatnot, that's where I learned how to certify. We got certified in the Cayman Islands. Yeah, and that was just, we had a guide that was a marine biologist besides, so he was excellent and taught us all kinds of cool stuff when we were there. But that's kind of one of their big things is the diving that's there in the Caymans.
Okay. So 3 islands. One is the smaller one is the Grand Cayman, and what would the third one be?
Third one is Cayman Brac. Brack meaning it's a Gaelic word for bluff. There's a bluff on one side of the island.
I see.
You can go up there and you can see the little lighthouse and that type
Okay.
of thing.
So that's not a typical, you wouldn't typically end up there.
No, not it really. In order to go to the sister islands, there has to be a motivation, and most of that is the diving. People are going over there because, for instance, on Little Cayman, there's an area called Bloody Bay Wall, which you can be diving in 2 digits, 40 feet, and it'll drop 3,000 feet.
Okay.
So-
You know, they really might want to rename that bay.
But Cayman themselves are 3 mountain tips just sticking up out of the ocean. So most of the divers going down there are going for wall dives. It's the walls are
drops
just off the shore
I see.
of the Cayman Islands.
Okay. So that's something. So if you went and said, I really want to dive, but I don't have any certification, I don't even know how to do it. I'm sure there might be places there that they could be certified to do some diving.
You can. If that's the case with any destination, in the Caribbean or anywhere around the world, my suggestion is they go locally. They visit their local dive shop. They do all their classroom, their pool work. Most destinations, a dive shop can do a referral, which they will contact somebody in the Cayman Islands or somewhere else. Tell them we're sending a client down. We want you to do their open water diving.
Okay.
That's
So
basically,
that's-
that's what we did. We did
Right.
the open water dive when we were in the Caymans. Did everything here through, believe it or not, through the YMCA.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah,
And
they
then-
were just excellent. And from there, then we went to the Caymans. Both of us got certified, and it was a great place to do an open water dive because, for one thing, a stone quarry up here is not my idea of fun. I'm sorry. And an old school bus to swim through also is not my idea of fun. So
That's not my idea.
the Caymans were a lot better to do it, and it really was. Just because of the fish and the things and the whatnot, it was just amazing.
Okay, so if you're interested in diving, this is certainly sounds like a great place
Yes.
to head for. Head
Yes,
to.
absolutely.
And snorkeling then.
Snorkeling, of course. But we also have a big, as of late, what has been happening to Cayman. Cayman has gotten the title over years of culinary capital of the
Oh.
Caribbean.
Well,
A lot of great restaurants there. And one in particular, Ritz-Carlton came in, and that kind of was the jump-off point because Ritz-Carlton came in and there's a chef by the name of Eric Repair who has a restaurant in New York, and he opened up 2 in the Ritz-Carlton, and they've just gone gangbusters, and they now have, which he hosts, there's a kind of a food festival that goes on in January. It's called Cayman Cookout. He hosts it along with
cool.
Anthony Bourdain, and they bring a lot of those celebrity chefs down.
Well, that's cool. Yeah.
And so they do this just for a weekend. And so that's kind of been the kickoff point of where Cayman has received this title. And
Okay.
so now you will go, even if it's just a local restaurant, everybody, it's always an upgrade of what you're getting there for Cayman with food. So we do have that. We have a lot of water sports people who just want to walk on the beach. And Cayman, all the beaches are public. So you can be staying on 7 Mile Beach and just get up in
Walk.
the morning, grab a cup of coffee,
And walk.
and,
the
and
beach.
just walk. So 7 Mile Beach is really kind of the place where most people would go and find a resort to their liking, and a lot of restaurants and activities would be in that area. And the beach is actually 7 miles long. I'm taking it
Yeah,
that's
it's a little
the
bit less.
2.5 miles.
No, it's 6 point something in there.
Well, 7 miles sounds
Yeah.
I
better.
was going to say 6.7 Mile Beach just doesn't sound right, right? Yeah.
Well, they always say because Cayman also has their own dollar. Now, unfortunately, I get beat up over this a lot. Their dollar is worth more than the U.S. So you lose 20%
Oh,
of your
20%.
U.S. dollar.
Okay.
But the Caymans
Shop
are very
wisely.
rich islands, though, too.
They're
Yes.
as discussed earlier. There's a very high standard of living there. It's a very safe island. You can drink the water. They speak English. It's a British territory, so they're a very proud people of this island. They're very helpful to you. You won't find any of the begging, which is it's completely illegal to harass a tourist. So you won't have the begging. You won't have people trying to sell you a timeshare or braid your hair, anything of that sort in Cayman.
That's really nice because sometimes, I mean, maybe people don't mind that, but other people do mind.
Right,
You know, they
right.
don't want to be constantly harassed about buying some timeshare or whatever. So that is a nice feature there. And you were, I think, also saying that what a nice, safe environment
Oh,
this is.
unreal. And we were talking earlier before we started the show. my husband and I were there, we rented a scooter. And we were just going around the island looking at things, and we ended up in a residential area, and we stopped because this tree was absolutely gorgeous. And then we just stopped to admire this tree because it was such a beautiful tree in the front yard. And we're looking, and this woman comes out of her house, and she says, "Is everything okay? Do you guys need help?" "Oh, no, ma'am, we're admiring your tree." She was just so thrilled that we stopped to look at her tree. She couldn't stop talking to us about it.
Oh, that's so nice.
That was just so cool, and just it made you feel so welcome that somebody really cared that much that you stopped to admire something that they had. The people there are absolutely incredible. I mean, couldn't have been nicer. They were just helpful. They were pleasant. I loved it.
Okay.
I would go back.
Very
I really
nice.
would. It was that nice.
Well, that sounds really beautiful, and it's fun to ride a scooter. And
Oh,
and go
yeah.
around. And
Yeah.
you must have felt pretty safe doing
Absolutely.
that. So you're not fighting
Absolutely.
traffic
No.
too much and
No,
all that.
not at all. It was very comfortable. It was just, there wasn't much traffic. It was just a great thing to do, and we went all over. We really did. We were talking earlier. There's Turtle, not farm, Turtle Center.
Yes.
Sorry,
Turtle
I
Center.
messed that up before. Which was kind of a neat place because it's the home for the green sea turtle. If I got this,
Correct.
that is an endangered species. So they're kind of bringing this back in to keep it going. That was amazing. You can see the different progression of the turtles as they grow in the different tanks, which I thought was neat. And then we went to this little town. It's called Hell. So you can tell everybody you've been to hell and back. Sorry, I know that's terrible, but that's what you can do. It's really cool.
Yeah.
All it is a rock.
Okay.
I mean, basically.
Now, was there a post office there?
Yes,
at the
there
time?
was a post. Yes,
So
there
you
was.
can get a postcard stamp from hell.
I've been to hell.
Yeah.
It's always been a pretty popular.
Place to go. Yeah,
Yes.
well,
How did-
it's kind of fun and funny.
How did it get its name?
Now, I don't know if this is legend or what.
Oh, legend is good. Legend is good.
But Cayman, because it is the top of the mountain, there's a lot of limestone formations. And just beyond what would be, because you pull up and there's a post office, and then there's a gift shop next door. Beyond that is you have all these rocky formations. Well, the water gets caught in the rocky formations. They're black because of the lichens that grow on this limestone. So when it gets real hot in the sunshine, it steams. My understanding is that there was somebody, and I want to say they were from the UK, that looked at it and said, "My God, this looks like hell." And
That
that's
name
how it
stuck.
started.
Oh my goodness, how cool is that?
So like I said, I don't know if that's entirely
sense.
true, but
But it's a
it's
thing.
a good legend.
Yes.
It's a good
Yes,
legend, honey.
yes.
Yeah.
So this Turtle Center is a place really where they're trying to like nurture and preserve the turtle population.
they are. The Turtle Center started out as a Cayman Islands turtle farm, and primarily it was started because fishermen would go out and fish turtle. They'd go turtling, as they called it. It was depleting the waters. So, and it was a private company at the time that started the turtle farm so that people weren't overfishing the turtle in the water.
Right.
So you could go to this place and you could buy turtle meat. You have to understand, in Cayman there really was nothing. The sea was your refrigerator, per se.
Okay.
You fished, you turtled, that type of thing. So they started the turtle farm. Over the years, of course, people don't eat turtle meat like they used to, and so it turned into the Turtle Center. Now it's more of an eco park. So they do a lot of studying on the turtles. They do hatching, they do release, they have a bird aviary there, there's snorkel tanks, there's kind of an aquarium with some predators of the sea in them. There's a little water park for kids. There's gift shops, of course, places to eat, to get something to drink, the whole bit. So it's turned out to be almost a whole day experience.
Oh yeah,
now.
that sounds nice.
And so, and across the street, there's a dolphin park. So people off cruise ships can go into this area. There's also a rum cake bakery in that same area.
Oh, yum.
And a car museum.
Oh, yum.
Well, I was going to ask about this being a destination for cruise ships, because I would think it would be.
Yes,
And so they're,
yes.
they're coming into whatever port there is there.
It's Georgetown that they come into on Grand Cayman.
Okay, and they come off. And what would they typically do? I mean, if you were going to take a cruise and you want to be involved in a cruise, sometimes you're looking at itineraries and you're thinking, do I want to go there? What would you be doing there?
Typically, when I'm asked, I get that question a lot, and saying, what should I do off of a cruise ship? A lot of them will do an island tour. Some will just go to the beach and hang out at the beach. You can purchase transfers to a public beach area off the cruise ships, but I always recommend Stingray City. Did you go to Stingray City?
No, we did not. And I'm sorry that we didn't when we were there. I wish we would
I
have.
was going to ask you about that because actually my son went there once, and that was pretty fun.
Stingray City is actually, it's in the North Sound, so it's not in the open seas. It's kind of a protected water. It's about 15 feet deep. There are certain sandbar areas where stingray would always hang out. Well, way back when, the fishermen used to come into this water because, of course, it was calm. They would clean their catch. Anything they didn't want, they throw overboard. Over years and years, these stingray, when they heard boat motors, thought, okay.
I can eat.
Yes,
I can eat.
dinner time.
The dinner
So
bell.
it just got to the point where they started taking boats out there, and they were hand feeding these stingray. Now things have changed. Now it's just supposed to be one person on the boat that you go out there with that feeds them. But it started out as a dive, kind of a dive site. So it was like a 12-foot dive. You sat down there, you were in a circle on your knees, and these stingrays were going around you. Well, they found another area a few years later that was like 3 feet deep, 3 to 4 feet deep. It's a sandbar where they would take people and they could actually snorkel and stand up, and the stingray
It would go, still go around.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's still very fascinating. A lot of people won't get off the boat, but it's, you know, it's, to be quite honest with you, the fear in people's,
Yes.
that's
What
what's
it
kind of
doesn't.
funny about
Yeah.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's funny that they have that fear, but yet they want to go do it. You know, so there's something that people enjoy being just a little scared about. Something.
Right. And of course they are a wild animal. They're not caged in by any means. So you still have to be careful. But
course.
these stingrays that come to this area that are attracted by these boat motors, they're used to the people. But I don't know if they still do it, but they used to tell us years ago you used to do the stingray shuffle. So you never lifted your feet and
Yeah.
walked.
Yeah.
You
Oh, you would
shuffled. So because they like to lay in the sand and bury
Right.
Oh, in
themselves.
case you would step on
Yeah.
one or
Right.
something.
Because
Oh,
typically
you could be, sure.
they will only sting if they feel threatened.
Right.
So if you step on their head, that could
They're-
Right.
Because they
threatening.
Yeah.
flip up their
kind of wings.
yeah,
Yes.
to cover themselves with sand.
Right.
And all that shows is just their eyes, and their eyes are, you know, close together. Never thought about that, but that is really good because you're right. You could step on one and not realize that you're doing it because you're not looking for that.
Right.
Well, you wouldn't
That's
see
smart.
it anyway, really. I
Right,
mean,
it's under the
you wouldn't
sand,
know.
yeah, because they flip
Yeah.
the sand up over them.
The beach we're
Yeah,
at,
it's
you know, occasionally, they always have a sign up, shuffle between these months, April and October. Shuffle your feet. You know,
Yes.
so you're not stepping
Right,
exactly on
right.
that. Well, that sounds like fun too. So I guess really there is a lot of activities to do on one hand. On the other hand, this sounds like the perfect place to have that great beach vacation.
Yes,
Where
absolutely.
you're relaxing and, you know, maybe you want to jog the beach or whatever, but you're doing activities that are a little more relaxing.
And it's, I mean, you'll find yoga on the beach. They do it on the boards. I've only seen pictures of this. I have not taken part. Yoga on a board out in the
Water?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
for heaven's
Really?
sakes. Wow,
Yes.
you got to be good to
It's
do
got
that.
to be. It's becoming very popular
Wow.
to do these
Yoga
things.
on a board in the water.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Holy cow.
A health mentality to your vacation is becoming very popular.
Wow, yeah.
And so, of course, there's a lot of spas in Cayman, so a lot of people like to take part in
Spas,
that.
right.
Most of the major hotels, Ritz, Marriott, Westin, the Seafire, which is a Kimpton hotel, and I'm sure I'm forgetting one in there, but they all have spas, so you can take part in there. Like I said, you can walk the beach. But what's unusual about Cayman, Grand Cayman and 7 Mile Beach, where you don't find in a lot of destinations, is we do have large hotels on that beach, but dispersed amongst them are condominiums. So you can rent a 1-bedroom up to 4-bedroom plus probably condominium if you want the family just to be all together. And a lot of times 2 couples will do it because typically each bedroom has a private bathroom, and so you're just sharing a common area, which is living room, kitchen, dining room. And
And that'd be nice if you are people who like to have breakfast in and do a
Right,
little cooking
right.
and so forth, and,
Well,
and you can
it's
be
perfect
together
for
a
that.
little bit
Yeah,
more
it's
Right.
really
than if
perfect
you're
for that, sure.
separate by your separate rooms. Yeah, that sounds good.
And this isn't an Airbnb or anything of that sort. Actually, a lot of that, because any property in the Cayman Islands that sells to a tourist must be licensed. Cayman Islands are a tax-free destination. So a lot of the money that supports Department of Tourism and tourism activities around the world are funded by this tax, this hotel tax. And So if somebody is selling through Airbnb and they're not licensed, it's actually illegal in the Cayman
okay.
Islands. And anymore with social media, destinations have to be aware of what is going on with their tourism, because you know it can change like that
It can.
with social
Absolutely.
media.
Right. It can.
Well, you also have the Freeport. You've got shopping there that's incredible too, because it's a Freeport. So you've got all kinds of shopping in Georgetown itself, which is
when
really
you say
neat.
Freeport, what does that mean?
There's no tax sign.
Yes.
No
Just
tax
duty
until you
free.
get to
Duty
the
free.
U.S. and then
Duty
there's
free.
tax.
Yeah, because there's liquor, there's cameras, there's jewelry, and it's a beautiful downtown area for walking and shopping.
Oh,
Very,
that's
very
nice, too.
nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a great shopper's destination. then.
Yes. Typically the prices are lower, but I always tell everybody alcohol can be expensive in Cayman. There is a duty on alcohol, and the last I heard it was 200%. So I tell everybody, if you want to take alcohol home with you, if you're coming on a cruise, buy it in a duty-free where it's sent to the cruise ship, or at the airport when you're leaving the island. If you're coming into Cayman, you are allowed to bring alcohol in with you. So if you want to, let's say you drink a certain kind of vodka, you can buy that duty-free in Chicago if you're leaving Chicago, or Miami, or whatever your gate is, your gateway, and you can bring it into the island. They only ask that you bring the receipt so that they can see.
Oh, that you bought it.
Right,
Okay.
right.
All right.
So there's a lot that you can bring in to Cayman. So to kind of, if you need to save a little money, Cayman is not a big all-inclusive destination. It's still a very safe island, so you can walk to restaurants and things of that sort. We do have a new property, which is a Margaritaville resort that's just south.
Really?
Yes,
Oh.
it used to be the old Treasure Island Hotel years ago.
Jimmy Buffett just went to the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, and it's opening between Georgetown and, let's say, the Marriott area.
Okay, all right.
And they will have an option for all-inclusive, but it's not going to be your typical, because in Cayman the properties are not walled in. They don't build them like compounds. I always tell the story, I was traveling with my boss years ago. I was staying at the Comfort Suites. She was at the Marriott, right next door to each other. And I told people, I said, now if I was going between the two, I could walk to the road, down the drive, to the road, down their drive, and into the hotel. I said, but in Cayman, you just cut through the bushes and you go right, because there are no
That's
walls.
so
and-
nice. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a nice feature that I know some people worry about when they're at certain destinations where safety could be compromised,
Right.
and so this is nice that this is not. And it can't be. It's a plane right away, so it's not too far.
It's very convenient from Chicago. We have service out of Chicago on the south side of Chicago, which I think is a great schedule. There's Southwest that flies through Fort Lauderdale. Now, I could be wrong exactly on the times, but I think you leave here at 6 a.m. and you connect in Fort Lauderdale, and arrive in Cayman at 12:20 in the afternoon.
That's perfect.
that's
Just in
nice.
time for
Yeah.
my afternoon margarita.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So, and then you also have Cayman Airways, which is in high season they have 2 flights a week, which is Wednesday and Sunday, and both of those airlines you have no luggage charge. So
Nice.
you're
Oh, Cayman too? I didn't
right.
know that.
Yes, Cayman you
Thank
get
you,
2 free
Cayman.
bags, and they're 55 pounds each, because typically a diver has a little bit more equipment that they're bringing with them, so they allow that.
Well, we non-divers appreciate these.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we also have United, and American will start this December 22nd.
For nonstop too?
Nonstop. But now, American right now is just doing it through the high season, which is basically from Christmas till Easter. Then you have United that typically starts right before Christmas, goes to August, along with Cayman Airways, and of course Southwest is, with the connection, is year-round.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
and it's, you do a nonstop flight from here, it's just over 4 hours. 4 hours and 5 minutes, I think, is what they say.
Like to California.
Yeah.
Same amount of
Very,
time.
very easy
Yeah,
flying.
nice. Okay. Well, great. Is there anything else we should know about our adventure to the Cayman Islands?
My suggestion is that because we did talk a little bit about the condos, and we also have villas, and your best bet is to contact a travel agent and call Class Act, get the information. They have the information, where they can set it up for you, and it'll act like any other thing. It's not like you're piecemealing it. They can set it up as a package, and you just
Well, you save so
enjoy.
much when you do a package, when you,
Right.
as they call the new bundle word these days, you bundle it together and you're going to save money this way because it gives you the airfare, the transfers from the airport to the hotel or the condo, whichever. The condo, the hotel, it's all together and you're not having this over here and that over here, and then what I'm going to do. One thing, and you've got it all done, and it's taken care of.
Right.
Okay.
And a little hidden secret, and not many travel agents know this, that if a person is coming into the Cayman Islands and they want to be transferred from the airport to their hotel, the only way they can do that is if they purchase that through a travel agent.
Oh, is that right?
Travel agent, it kind of links a chain. Travel agent then goes to their wholesaler, tour operator, and they purchase the package. That's how they're allowed to get transfers. If you book it on your own, it's not a package, and you get to the airport, you have to take a taxi.
Yeah.
And typically, taxis are reasonable as you compare them to cities around the world, but still, it's probably more expensive than you would have paid for a transfer if you had purchased from a travel agent.
Good information. Great.
Yeah,
Well,
it
Jeff,
works
thank you. And
Thank you.
Kathy, for bringing Jeff here to us. And it sounds like the Cayman Islands is really a really nice destination, not too far. Safe, fun, beautiful, lots of hotels to choose from. And of course, you got those condos too, which makes it kind of nice if you want to bring the whole family with you. There's a place to kind of all be together. So thank you again. And we'll see you next time when we have the travel show and we have something more for you to think about. See you next time. Bye-bye.